Colleagues, now you will have to bear with me. I've been giving an instruction to also do an address and while I'm working the technology, and I think I'm getting there. Thank you very much, Runel. Colleagues, as I've indicated, I am very passionate about education. And I got involved in this process. Maybe I can give some bit of history of myself. I started as a teacher. Maths and science and biology teacher. And then somehow I ended up on the Sishinguve campus of the TUT University as a senior lecturer, and then I became the dean of the Faculty of Education. And thereafter the mergers happened, and I moved on to become the planner of the institution. And then I was requested by the minister to come and assist the government to do human resource planning for our country through a university context. So I ended up becoming a government official, which I never thought I would be, but I am, unfortunately. But then our deputy president then launched a process to understand how we can utilize entrepreneurship within our university, college, and our school context to create job creators and not only job seekers. And I think this is what the wisdom that came from the Dr. Richard Maponya Institute address was now all about. I would like to take you through the slide in terms of the preparation that I did for this today. It was done by the Human Resource Development Council, and it was presented to the council to motivate why we cannot think of economic development without looking at the link and the interface between entrepreneurship and education. So the presentation I'm going to give to you is focusing on university education alone, but part of this presentation was the college system and the school system, but I'm not going to state on that. I want to take us back for those that was last year, also at the think tank. Now what I've picked up in the notes that was stated there, these were the comments made by that roundtable group when they thought through some issues on entrepreneurship. So I quote, the following are statements made by those people. In Africa, most of the children want to graduate and want to be employed. The schools are not doing enough to change this perspective. Next one. Lobby with government to have legislation that is conducive for startups, giving skills to businesses, entrepreneurs, like financial skills, marketing skills, and develop a starter pack from someone who wants to start a business. Is that not what we should do for our students? Next quote. We would like to see university entrepreneurship students to go into communities and offer solutions that should be presented to the financiers. But if they're not able to do and build a business, how can they share those kind of skills and wisdom with the communities? Another quote. Entrepreneurship must start at primary school. It must be part of the society. Last quote. School seldom promotes entrepreneurship. Now, but this was for me a testimony in terms of what we're doing specifically at university education. And I'm going to start with this. George referred to the NDP, and NDP said that 11 million new jobs need to be created by 2030, according to our National Development Plan. Now, there's the red light already. If we're not going to do something about that, then nothing is going to happen. So the question was, where will those jobs come from? 7.7 million further new jobs will most likely need to be created by small, medium, macro enterprises. And this has been showed out of 19 key strategic areas in the NDP, 40% incorporate a strategy around small businesses and the support for entrepreneurship education. Research has shown that for 1% increase in the new business entry rate, 1.46% increase in GDP or capita is created, 0.6% reduction in unemployment, 1% in export. So obviously, we know entrepreneurship is key. But we need to change the mindsets of South Africans to be more entrepreneurial and equipped to start and maintain businesses. South Africans perceive their entrepreneurial capabilities as the lowest of the 10 sub-Saharan countries. And of all the age groups, South African youth are the lowest and the least likely to start a business. And you can see in terms of the graph, only in 2010, 20%, 18 to 24 years old, 2011, 16, it decreased. So we're not stimulating those kind of skills in our youth. They are too scared. I've got a daughter as well. She graduated now with an arts degree. She has to establish her own business, but she's scared. She does not know how to. So young people need to be provided with the competencies, mindsets, and attitudes to start businesses and sustain them. 2% of our adults engage in different phases of entrepreneurship. Even our adults going through university, not being in university, when you reach an age of 25 to 30 years old, you are not enabled to be self-confident to embark on those kind of activities. So a small percentage of the population contributes to the vast majority of the country's GDP. Therefore, it's vital that our people attend university and higher education to increase the contribution to job creation and economic prosperity. And there you will see, in terms of the graph shown there, that is the percentage of tertiary contribution. Our university graduate contribute. It's the smallest percentage of educated people in the country. But those graduates, when they go out into the economy, they contribute the largest proportion of wealth to South Africa. So education and training are amongst the most important factors to stimulate entrepreneurial activity. The more educated a person is in South Africa, the more likely they are to believe that they have entrepreneurial activities. So entrepreneurship basics should be included, starting from the FET level. But this task team found it should be starting in the schools. And there's now a whole development plan in our Department of Basic Education to involve and revive and to relive entrepreneurial skills within our basic education. And this is a quote from the World Economics Forum Global Education Initiative, which is very true. And I'm going to read it quickly because it is so true. Entrepreneurship education plays an essential role in shaping attitudes, skills, and culture from the primary level up. We believe entrepreneurial skills, attitudes, and behaviors can be learned. And that exposure to entrepreneurship education throughout an individual's lifelong learning path, starting from youth and continuing through adulthood into higher education, as well as reaching out to those economically or socially excluded, is imperative. And I'm standing here today in front of you, and I have a plea. I need support in terms of getting a drive in our university, our 26 universities, to enable our students to be entrepreneurial orientated. So the HRDC task team conducted a study at our South African universities to understand what is the problem. Why doesn't this come off the ground? So the survey was done, 20 of the 23 universities responded, 12 of the 13 public graduate schools responded, some of them were private, and most of the respondents were DVCs, deans, professors, senior lecturers, and directors. And the majority of these higher education institutions offer at least one core or one elective module in entrepreneurship, with some universities offering more than 4. But this is across the entire university. This is not enough. 75% of universities and 91% of our business schools surveyed believe that the university sector is not adequately fostering culture of universities, of entrepreneurship. So overwhelming, the answer was no, indicating that a lot needs still to be done. While most universities offer some form of entrepreneurial education, content is taught using traditional methods and only to business students. My vision is that an engineer, a medical student, an optometrist, a socialist, a psychologist, while they're studying, teach them how they can establish their business when they are entering the economic world of South Africa. Our engineers, why are they unemployed? Why are civil engineers, electronic engineers, metallurgic engineers, why do we get messages that we are producing graduates for unemployment? Why don't we turn it around and teach those young students or young adults then to establish their own business? So more focus is being given to community engagement initiatives than to develop and support students and graduate entrepreneur initiatives. Some universities are working closely with surrounding communities, as was the request in the previous think tank. But do they really have the capability to establish something that they can develop in-house through a university sector? In order to do more, 95% of university express funding is an issue. And we know fees must fall. Our universities are challenged at this moment. So the top 3 challenges that the university expressed was lack of funding, 95% of them indicated that, qualifications of staff, so we don't have an appropriate person to lecture in entrepreneurship, and then time. Most time are spent on teaching and learning and research and development and community engagement. My point of view is integrated into the teaching and learning, integrated into an academic qualification. So a need was identified to champion entrepreneurship in higher education. And we've launched, on Madiba's birthday, in 2013, a forum of entrepreneurship development centers for higher education. It was established, it was launched, it was a big hoo-ha, but it never got off the ground. And the intention was that we group our universities together, that we get such a forum going, that we share best practices amongst our universities, that they can learn from a UJ, for instance, how to be entrepreneurial in the context of the university, but also for the students. So the recommendations that came out of our report that was delivered to the Human Resource Development Council, where the chair is the deputy president. This was our recommendations. It said senior leadership, vision, engagement, and sponsorship. This is key. I've presented to the vice chancellors of the universities. What did they say to me? Universities are there for scholarship, not for entrepreneurship. And I was so disappointed. But I told myself I'm going to keep fighting, so I'm still here. So strong programmatic and faculty leadership. Sustained commitment over a long period of time. Entrepreneurs are not born overnight. Commitment of targeted financial resources to innovation and entrepreneurship. And George, you've said it. We need to be innovative in what we're thinking. Our universities, Daniel also said it, our universities need to start thinking about being innovative to get out of this crunch where we are sitting at this moment. Commitment to continue innovation in curriculum and programs and sharing of best practice curriculum and methodologies, and appropriate organizational infrastructure across our institutions, and commitment to build extended enterprise and achieving critical mass. So we have to champion entrepreneurship at the highest level and make it a strategic priority. We've also said that we have to investigate our funding framework to include innovation outputs. Issues that we've raised, our artists in our universities, producing these products, a show, artifacts, patents. We need to be innovative and think through how we as the government can fund those innovations. It's already start commercializing and getting that concept in our young people. When they do their research, they develop their patent, that we can take it to commercialization. Our universities are doing it. UJ is a very good example of that. WITS is another example, but not to the extent that what we need. So we have to re-establish. I'm asking if we can empower a FETSI, that's how the acronym is, create that forum again, that we can get our universities together, share best practice, and share what is working well, so that we can spread the knowledge and the intellect to manage this. Encourage research into entrepreneurship education, as well as entrepreneurship education should be offered across all our faculties. Not only in management sciences, not only in our centers for entrepreneurship, not only in our business schools. in our engineering faculties, in our humanity faculties, because there might just be a diamond in one of those faculties and become the next Richard Maponya. So universities should establish entrepreneurship centers, refocus university initiatives on the students themselves, develop best practice courses and mechanisms for sharing, create a centralized knowledge sharing site in the cloud. Relevant IP should be shared and considered a national asset. Allocate university funding specifically for development of entrepreneurship, and initiate a new National Entrepreneurship Week. So we've also asked for measuring and tracking results of these initiatives will ensure that we can then measure the impact of what we can produce. SA should participate in the annual Global Guest Survey to assess students' entrepreneurial. And yearly there are students going over to New York in participating in that. The role of business. Partnerships are key and ensure it is not just an academic endeavor. Build stronger relationships. And this is our plea to you. I would really like to hear from what you are saying. When you do your think tank and you talk around yourselves, what can we do in addition to what is already being proposed? This is a slide that we've developed to show it's not only the actions that we want to do through the curriculum, through your academic project, but universities. Why don't we think about entrepreneurial universities? A very good example is the University of Twente. When the University of Twente was established in the Netherlands, where was it established? On the outskirts. It was set up to fail. And then the principal or the vice-chancellor, Frans van Vugt, said, no ways. I need to be entrepreneurial. I need to attract business. I need to create that I don't depend on government funding. And University of Twente is one of the best known entrepreneurial universities. Now that is thinking out of the box. Why can't we as South Africa do the same? So I'm proposing a national forum, linkage and public campaigns to get universities think differently in these tough times. I'm not going through this again. I think you've got my plea. And I thank you.